Hello and welcome back to CuriousCapital, the channel where we decode diplomacy with a side of sass and a whole lot of strategy. Today, we dive into a visit that made headlines, raised eyebrows, and whispered signals across continents. Yes, we're talking about PM Modi's historic visit to Cyprus. Now, on the surface it may look like just another friendly photo op, but this visit was a layered geopolitical statement, wrapped in silence, wrapped in strategy. So buckle up. We're about to zoom into one of the smallest nations with some of the biggest implications for India's foreign policy. First visit in 75 years. Coincidence? Think again. Let's start with a fact that already sounds like satire. In 75 years of Indian independence, no prime minister has ever visited Cyprus. Not one. We've sent delegations to Iceland, done yoga in Mongolia, and even flirted diplomatically with South American outposts. But Cyprus? Untouched. And then, like a plot twist nobody saw coming, PM Modi lands in Nicosia. Now, this raises one immediate question. Why now? Because in diplomacy, timing isn't random. Timing is the message. What the official press release said, yawn. Now, according to the Press Information Bureau, this visit was to strengthen cooperation in science, technology, and defense. Sure, just like every peace treaty ever, is about mutual understanding. Let's be honest, these are the filler words of diplomacy. The real story begins when you look behind that curtain. So now, let's talk about what Cyprus actually is and why it suddenly matters to India. But where is Cyprus? Now, before we dive deeper, quick geography refresher. Because let's face it, most of us couldn't spot Cyprus on a map until 2 weeks ago. Cyprus is a tiny island in the eastern Mediterranean, nestled between Greece, Turkey, and the Middle East. It's part of the European Union, uses a euro, and has a population smaller than Mumbai's Andheri suburb. But here's the kicker. Its location is more explosive than its size suggests. We're talking gas field, naval routes, and neighbors who love drama. So now that we know where it is, let's find out why it matters. Turkey, the big, noisy neighbor. Let's get straight to the geopolitical spice. Next door to Cyprus is Turkey, the regional muscle flexor and frequent critic of India. In every UN summit or Islamic conference, President Erdogan goes on a passionate monologue about Kashmir, conveniently skipping his own neighborhood issues. India? It doesn't reply with speeches. It replies with partnerships. And that brings us back to Cyprus, a country that's been in a frozen conflict with Turkey since 1974, when Turkey invaded and took over the northern half of the island. Only Turkey and Pakistan recognize northern Cyprus as legitimate. Coincidence? Please. That's a diplomatic Erdogan, Imran double date. India's quiet but consistent support. Now, India doesn't always shout on the global stage, but it shows up where it matters. For decades, India has consistently backed Cyprus's sovereignty, refused to recognize northern Cyprus, and supported Cyprus in UN resolutions. And what does Cyprus do in return? They support India, openly and unambiguously, including during India's recent internal assertion of sovereignty through Operation Sindoor. Now we're getting into the meat of it. Operation Sindoor. Who backed India? Operation Sindoor, while not detailed publicly, has become a symbol of India asserting its territorial integrity. And Cyprus came out in support, even when bigger nations played a neutrality card. Why is that important? Because in diplomacy, it's not always the loudest voices that sway the room. It's the early supporters who shape the narrative. And when a European Union nation like Cyprus backs India, that's more than moral support. That's international validation. Speaking of international support, let's now talk about the quiet power of small countries. In forums like the FATF, UN Human Rights Council, or General Assembly, it's not always the US, Russia, or China calling the final shot. It's the swing voters, the Cyprus, Slovakia, Maldives, Armenias of the world. And Cyprus? It's increasingly one of India's reliable yes votes. When Pakistan is lobbying to avoid terror gray listing or deflect attention from its internal chaos, countries like Cyprus become crucial vote casters. So Modi's visit? It's not a thank you tour. It's a relationship reinforcement exercise. Cyprus and the EU FTA door opener? Now let's talk trade. India has been trying to sign a free trade agreement, FTA, with the EU for over a decade. It's stuck, stalled, and sometimes ignored. But here's the twist. In the EU, every member must agree for deals to pass. That includes, you guessed it, Cyprus. So this visit is also about unlocking trade potential, using Cyprus as a bridge to Brussels. Sometimes the smallest ally can make the biggest introductions. Energy politics, the Mediterranean gas game. Next up, let's dig into the real gold beneath Cyprus, natural gas. The eastern Mediterranean is swimming in undersea gas fields. Israel, Egypt, Greece, and Cyprus are already collaborating on pipelines and energy security. India, desperate to diversify its energy sources and reduce OPEC dependency, is quietly exploring partnerships in this region. Modi's visit isn't about today's gas. It's about tomorrow's energy security. A foot in the door now equals a seat at the table when energy deals explode. Naval diplomacy, eyes on the ports. Let's move from under the sea to on the sea. India's navy is expanding, both in numbers and in geography. From Andaman to Seychelles, we've increased presence. So, why not the Mediterranean? Imagine a future scenario where Indian vessels dock at Cyprus ports for logistics, joint exercises, or soft deployment. It's subtle, symbolic, and seriously strategic. India, Israel, Cyprus triangle. The quiet alliance. Next, let's connect some dots. India has strong defense and tech ties with Israel. Israel and Cyprus? Also close allies. So what do we get? A silent triangle of tech transfer, cybersecurity, military exercises, and shared annoyance with Turkey. This isn't a formal alliance yet, but Modi's handshake may be the opening chapter. India, Greece, Cyprus. A counter-Turkey axis? Now let's add another player, Greece. India and Greece have been warming up diplomatically. Greece, like Cyprus, has its own, let's say, complicated history with Turkey. What we're looking at is an emerging outline of a strategic triangle. India, Greece, Cyprus. Is it anti-Turkey? Maybe not openly, but diplomatically, it's a power circle forming in Turkey's backyard. Indian diaspora in Cyprus, small but symbolic. Now, let's not forget our silent influencers. The Indian diaspora. Cyprus has a small but thriving Indian population. Students, tech workers, business people. And Modi's visit tells them, you matter. Diaspora diplomacy is the soft power India excels at, and this was one more gesture that builds goodwill and visibility. Fun facts about Cyprus. Just for the vibe. Before we close, let's lighten the mood. It's one of the world's safest countries, statistically speaking. And yes, it has better wine than most influencers know how to pronounce. Oh, and one more thing. It's been independent since 1960, but still hosts British military bases. So technically it's neutral and also useful. So what looked like a ceremonial visit was actually a multi-layered geopolitical maneuver. Let's summarize this checkmate. 1. Softly countering Turkey through alliances. 2. Securing support for India at FATF and the UN. 3. Opening a quiet back channel into the EU. 4. Preparing for Mediterranean energy diplomacy. 5. Seeding a naval footprint in Europe's backyard. 6. Crafting mini triangles. India, Israel, Cyprus, India, Greece, Cyprus. And of course, strengthening the diaspora bond. So the next time someone tells you it's just Cyprus, tell them it's also energy, trade, military access, diplomatic influence, and a Turkey pressure point, all in one postcard-sized island. This was not tourism. This was strategy. Until next time, this is Curious Capital, where we don't just explain the moves, we decode the board. Before you go, if you enjoyed this deep dive into India's silent power moves, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episode where we decode the geopolitics behind every handshake. And now we want to hear from you. Do you think India should formalize a strategic triangle with Cyprus and Greece to counter Turkey's growing aggression? Or is silent diplomacy the smarter play? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's start a conversation that's more powerful than a press release.